Hi, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Interfaith Pastor. It has been a long time since I've recorded anything. Some of you may know that I had open heart surgery back in January, so that kind of took me away from my usual routines. But it was actually during the time of my being in the hospital and everything that went along with that. There really was quite a spiritual um, adventure, shall we say. I had wanted to record this during the Passover and the Holy Week, Passover season for Jews and for the Holy Week season for Christians, because what I experienced had a lot to do with the theme of exodus of being released from some kind of captivity. And of course, during Holy Week on Maundy Thursday, Christians read the Passover story. And so it's quite familiar to both Christians and Jews. So what happened was that my heart surgery was postponed because I all of a sudden couldn't walk. I could not get up, could not stand up, could not walk, and I ended up going to the emergency room, having ambulance come and pick me up and go to the emergency room. And from there, they put me in a room, but then after that, they sent me to a nursing facility for rehab that they would better be able to get me back on my feet. Well, it turned out that that was just a terrible, terrible, terrible experience. Long story, very long story short was that I didn't have just a back problem. I had an infection that was everywhere. It was everywhere, including my back, and needed to be on antibiotics, and that's what finally took care of it. But anyway, back to the Exodus story, that while I was in this nursing facility, I was pretty miserable. I was in pain, and it didn't seem like anything was helping. What they were trying to do with me with rehab was not working at all. In fact, it was sheer misery, painful misery. So I was lying there um, one night toward the end of my stay there, and I'll admit there were a lot of tears going on during this time, wondering what was going to happen. What was going to happen to me? This was one of the worst things that ever happened, and I had no way of knowing what what was going on and what was going to become of me. Um, and I started thinking about, as a pastor for the past 35 years or so, how I talked about how to pray, how to be in touch with the divine when we're experiencing difficult things, hard things in life. And I started thinking, well, how do I feel about that? How do I really believe that? I mean, when the rubber really hits the road and you're absolutely miserable and you don't see any way out, any hope, where is your faith? And that really got me thinking. And the more I thought about it and thought about it, what came into my mind was Exodus. Exodus. And I kept thinking, I need an Exodus. I need a way out. And I thought, for all of these years, I've been talking and preaching about Exodus as God's way of helping us in difficult situations. The word means exit. Hodos is road, a road out, a way out. Of course, that's what it meant for those ancient Israelites as they found a way out from slavery in Egypt. And I thought, and I've always taught that there can always be an exodus, not just a one-time event in history, but God provides a way. And I thought, do I really believe that? how can I believe that? But it is what I need. And so my prayer, such as it was during that difficult time, was, God, I need an exodus. I need an exodus. Well, turned out that the following day, when Barbara, my spouse, came in to visit, she was all prepared to say, we need to get you out of here. And I, before she had a chance to say that, said, I need to get out of here. And so we were both on the same page and we worked on finding a way to get me out. Now, it wasn't an easy thing. We did get me out, but it was not an easy thing at all. A lot of pain involved, and sending me back to the emergency room and putting me back on a lot of drugs, and then sending me home, still not able to walk. So it was still hard. But of course, that was the Exodus too, right? People are freed from slavery in Egypt, but then they're in the wilderness wandering for 40 years. And so it's not that God's going to come and say, "Oh, everything's all right now. Here's the road. Here you go." And everything's hunky dory. No, that's not usually the way it works. And it didn't work for me, although I was grateful. I was so grateful when I finally got home and was thinking, I got an exodus. I got an exodus. I'm out. I'm out of a bad situation. Now, I still had a long way to go to get where I needed to be, but my faith reminded me that God does provide. Now, I don't want to imply that anybody, I mean, I think about people who are starving, people who are in very desperate situations, homeless, this does not mean that God just comes and solves everybody's problems. There might not be what we would think of as a way out for someone in the depths of malnutrition or no clean water or no housing, that kind of thing. In that case, the exodus needs to come from us. We are the ones who provide exodus, who provide aid, provide a way for people who have no way. We are God's representatives to provide that exodus. So I don't want to minimize anyone's situation at all, but only to tell you mine, that in the depths of despair, very much in despair and hopelessness, of having the insight of Exodus, the word just came to me. From where? Um, it came to me, and I realized that all that I've been talking about for all of these years, that God does provide a way out. God did provide a way out for me. So here I am. Here I am, post infection, post surgery, all of these things, getting back in gear. So welcome back, welcome me back, and we'll see what the interfaith pastor wants to get into next. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's good to see you. Bye.